Despite the state's stay-at-home advisory, the Boston area has seen an increase in shootings in recent weeks, frustrating police and the district attorney.
We are in a global pandemic. People need to be sheltering in place, essentially, and they aren't complying.
Boston police say 7 people were shot in 5 separate incidents over the weekend, including one man who was killed. And the violence is still extending to kids. Last month, 17-year-old Alyssa King was shot and killed in Dorchester. A 10-year-old girl was critically hurt when a bullet came through the wall of her apartment. Those are exactly the types of incidents thousands of people come together to stand up against every year at the annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace, which this year will be done virtually. Tina Chéry started the event 24 years ago after founding the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, which is named after her son, who was shot and killed back in '93 on his way to a Christmas-time meeting of teens against gang violence. Tina joins me now. Tina, as always, it is good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for the invitation. Always good to be with you.
Before we get to the walk, I read that both your mother and your oldest sister, Julia, came down with COVID-19. How are they doing?
My sister's home recovering. She's recovering and she's doing good. My mom is not. My mom is in critical condition. And so we're just asking for prayers, and she is loved so much. And so she's not doing good.
You know, I've read about how she is loved so much, and I know that she's at BMC, where she spent, 40 years of her life serving other people, right?
40 years serving other people. Yeah, they love her so much. She used to make scrubs, colorful scrubs when they first came out. So they have them in her room, Scrubs by Soila.
Well, obviously, we'll be thinking about her.
Thank you.
We'll be thinking about her.
Thank you.
You know, I have been, as you know, to many of these unbelievably inspirational marches. You've done more than almost 2 dozen. I guess this is 2 dozen. Never one virtual before. And I know it starts Sunday at 9 a.m. with one of my favorite people, in addition to you, LaToya Edwards. What exactly is it going to look like? How does this work?
Well, we're going to figure all that out together. This is the first time NEC and NBC Boston is doing this. So we feel it's a historic moment. But the idea and the vision is at 9 o'clock, we come in, LaToya and I are on. We're having a conversation. We're greeting people, speakers, the mayor, the attorney general, Dr. Tab is co-chair, Sharon Baker, a survivor. So people are talking. We have inspirational videos. There's a chat going on. People are competing. And it's really coming together virtually. And it's from 9 to 9:45.
You know, one of the things for people who haven't been to any of the walks, when I've talked to people who were going to their first, they did it because they thought it was the right thing to do. But they would say, I know how depressing it's going to be. And I have to say, it is anything but. It is celebrating the lives of those we've lost. Am I not right? I mean, isn't that the goal, not only to raise money and to work to bring peace, but to remember the best things about people who are no longer with us, including your son?
Right, who are no longer with us. And we are saying as a community, we do not raise our children to kill, and we do not raise our children to be killed. So what better way of coming together and showing the power of the communities, especially those of us who have been impacted by the worst of the worst.
And by the way, your position all along, which I have been so impressed by, is there are 2 victims. I don't know if you use this word, not only the person who loses their life, but the family of the shooter, too. A few years ago, you stood on the stage with the young man who shot and killed your son in what I thought was one of the most moving demonstrations of trying to get to a place of peace that I have ever witnessed, Tina. It was unbelievable.
And we could do that. For me, that's God's justice. And that's what we need to have. We really need to find a way of bringing not just the individuals, but families together, because the victims that are being killed and the young people that are killing were not even born when Louis was killed. And that should be troubling for all of us. We have to stop blaming the children for the ongoing violence.
By the way, I think you should spend a minute. I'm assuming everybody knows you and what you do. Spend the last minute. Tell people, what does the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute do to create a better Boston, a better world, Tina?
We're a center for healing, teaching, and learning for families and communities impacted by murder, trauma, grief, and loss. And our work is really connected in the line with the Center for Disease Control. In order to interrupt cycles of retaliatory violence, intervention must happen at multiple levels. And for us, is our services, working with families on both sides of homicide to really equip families to begin that healing and reconciliation process. The second one is our advocacy and awareness. Once families are ready to channel their pain and anger, how do we now equip them to advocate for the betterment for our community and to impact public policy? And then the last segment is our training and education, really transferring our knowledge. We are the go-to agency in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts when a homicide happens, that family is connected to us. We are a model for the city, for the state, and for the country. And we've developed our tools, and those are the things that we want to bring forth to make sure that it's not about creating mini peace institute, but it's about equipping institutional stakeholders to respond effective and equitable to families.
Tina, you are a model for the city, the state, and the country as well. I will see you Sunday at 9, and we'll be thinking about your mother. Take care, Tina.
Thank you so much. I will let her know, and thank you again so much. Have a blessed day. Yes.
Tina Chéry. You can find more information at mothersdaywalkforpeace.org. That's the number 4. And join us Sunday at 9. You see it all on your screen.